From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
A corn maze that's about much more than getting a little lost.
We want them to feel good about agriculture and the agricultural roots.
See what keeps people coming to this amazing maze. Record farmland sales. Has the market reached its top?
I wouldn't have bet we'd ever see a $30,000 sale this year either.
What industry experts are telling us, plus why some harvested corn is being refused in the Midwest. That's right now on AgDay. Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Farmers and livestock producers are facing another headache this fall. In part of the eastern corn belt, there are reports of vomitoxin in corn. AgDay's Michelle Rook has more on what it means for marketing the crop.
Clinton, the latest reports are coming out of Indiana and Ohio. It's forcing ethanol plants and grain elevators to have to scrutinize every load of corn that comes to market. Now, if vomitoxin is detected, grain buyers can refuse cargoes or the corn can be docked. Ethanol facilities in affected states are rejecting corn that tests above acceptable levels in parts per million because it can impact the byproduct distillers' dry grains or DDGs used for animal feed. Officials at Ohio State University's Department of Plant Pathology warn in the process of making ethanol, vomitoxin becomes more concentrated.
Again, their goal is to blend off and to keep the levels low enough that the DDGs aren't affected. So 5 or over is rejected, 5 or under is being accepted.
Feed from grain contaminated with concentrated levels of the plant toxin can sicken livestock and lead to low weight gain, especially in hogs. Producers should test corn for vomitoxin, and if detected, it can be blended into the ration to reach acceptable levels.
It's difficult for the hog producer more so than probably the DDG user. That's going to take some movement.
Grain producers that may have vomitoxin in corn in storage need to watch those bins to make sure it doesn't spread throughout the entire bin. Farmers should also check with their local ethanol plant or elevator before delivering corn to determine their policy on vomitoxin. Now, Shelby thinks those farmers with non-contaminated corn will be able to market it at a higher premium this winter.
Buffalo, New York is still dealing with possibly the biggest snowstorm in more than 20 years. The city and surrounding areas digging out from heavy lake effect snow along with intense wind gusts and below normal temperatures, even lightning. The storm was expected to dump more than 4 feet of snow on the area. After that big blast of winter weather last week, what could we see this week? Meteorologist Matt Yurosavik is here with a look ahead.
That's right, Clinton, and we are going to be seeing some cooler temperatures work their way back in. It's a little mild starting off the week, though, especially in the southern half of the United States. But if we look at the precipitation this week, below normal through the middle of the country, down across the Gulf Coast and up the East Coast. A couple of storms could bring some rainfall there, maybe some interior snow in places like New England and then back in the Pacific Northwest as well. We'll see more of that rain already starting as we head into Monday with that cold front pushing on the coast, bringing the rain and the higher elevation snows out there to the northern Rockies and the Sierras as we head deeper into the week. It's chilly across the north, warm and mild across the south with a few areas of some rainfall in parts of Texas and in Florida. Otherwise, just a few lingering snow showers downwind of a couple of those Great Lakes. Things, though, very, very dry, and as we head deeper into the winter, we'll want to get some rainfall or some snowfall to help erase this drought as we head into the next planting season in the spring, and we'll obviously keep tracking that here on AgDay.
Yields in the Fields on AgDay is brought to you by Micro Essentials from Mosaic, the science of more. Discover our proven products. Text YIELDS to 31313.
And lots of farmers were racing to get things done ahead of all that snow. Cody Etter of Northwest Ohio working to bring in the corn crop, and he says he just wants to finish after 3 days of snow. Cody says yields are running above average for him this year. I'll have more on your forecast coming up.
Talks are continuing between U.S. and Chinese officials after President Biden and China's president met last week for the first time face-to-face since Mr. Biden took office. U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai meeting in Bangkok with the Minister of Commerce for China, the two sides talking on the margins of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Ministerial meeting. The U.S. Trade Representative's office saying Tai shared the U.S. vision for APEC and that the two discussed bilateral trade and also emphasized the importance of maintaining open lines of communication between the U.S. and China. Will food prices be higher next year? Not necessarily, says one food industry expert. Cargill CEO David McLennan, speaking at the Bloomberg New Economy Forum in Singapore, pointing out that global crop stockpiles remain tight, especially when it comes to oilseeds, but adding, quote, all it takes is one really bad crop, let's say in North America or South America, to really send prices higher, end quote. McLennan also says a solution to the food versus fuel debate is to boost global crop production. Not only are food prices higher right now, but farmland prices are breaking records. We told you earlier this month about a chunk of land in Sioux County, Iowa, selling for $30,000 an acre. And when we shared the news on our Facebook page, hundreds of you had something to say about it. Farm Journal's Tyne Morgan asked the experts about when we could see a shift in prices.
A record-breaking sale has made its rounds on social media. 73 acres in Sioux County, Iowa that sold for $30,000 per acre last week. The total price, more than $2.1 million. The company selling the property says the buyer was a local farmer. So now others want to know, where does this crazy land market end?
Yeah, that's a really good question because I wouldn't have bet we'd ever see a $30,000 sale this year either.
Brent Gloy of Ag Economic Insight says he thinks the jetliner has hit and farmland values will be at least at cruising altitude for now.
I think it's going to slow down real fast for a few reasons, but number one being the higher interest rates are going to start having an impact on this land market.
While the rise in land values may slow, one-off record sales could continue.
There's a lot of money in the farm sector, and for people that see that farm that they really want, they've got money to pay that, and so those values will stay pretty strong.
He says where he could see land values softening is the more marginal land, but he warns commodity prices today are only fueling the land market.
Put $7 corn into your budget for the next 10 years, you can support pretty high farmland prices. The question, though, is whether we think that is kind of where things settle out.
Last month, land in Richardson County, Nebraska sold for more than $27,000 per acre, and Plymouth County, Iowa saw a $26,000 per acre land sale. And FBN economist Kevin McNew thinks the fuel for farmland, which is commodity prices, could continue.
We think, farmland values probably continue to stay high as long as commodity markets stay high, which I think they will for the next year or so. We're in a much different paradigm than probably what I've seen in my 50 years in agriculture, where we have really, really constrained supplies and demand growth that is really through the roof. And I think that's a catalyst for farmers for the next year or so, for sure.
All right, thanks, Tyne. Short covering and fund selling dominated markets at the end of the week. We'll take a look at the week ahead next in analysis. And later, there's nothing like getting lost in a corn maze, even if for a few minutes. We tour one of the top mazes in the country coming up.
AgDay is brought to you by Germinator Closing Wheels. Germinator Closing Wheels provide quicker emergence and are more consistent in dry conditions than any other closing wheels. Order 12 to 16 rows today and qualify for free shipping or 20% off an end zone moisture management package.
Almost 1 in 4 bankers surveyed feel their local economy is already in a recession. That's the assessment of the latest Rural Main Street Index. The index now sitting below growth neutral for a 5th straight month. The survey, conducted by Creighton University of Rural Bankers, reports almost 3 out of 4 bankers expect a nationwide recession to begin next year. Corn ending last week with some gains, while soybeans ended in a different direction. Michelle Rook is back with a look ahead at markets now.
We closed out the week with mixed trade in both grain and livestock futures, and joining us, Oliver Slope with Blue Line Futures. And the grains had a crazy week last week, but at least we held the bottom end of these trading ranges, some key support areas.
Yeah, some key support areas is right, and it was really good to see because we were on the brink, I think, of a bigger technical breakdown, but we were able to hold some technically significant areas as well as psychologically significant areas For December corn, 650s, obviously that psychological level that a lot of market participants are keeping a very close eye on. And just above that's the 100-day moving average. And we were able to defend that and work our way off of that, which was encouraging. And then for soybeans, $14 is the psychologically significant level. 100-day comes in just above that, near 1406. We were able to rally off of that, which is encouraging. And I think that bodes well going forward, especially when we start to see grains make a little bit more of a seasonal push to the upside during this time frame. November 16th to about January 4th for corn and soybeans has been historically friendly over the last 15 years.
Yeah, talk about that. Not only the seasonals, but we're starting a holiday week. We usually have thin trades. So what does all that mean? What are you expecting?
Yeah, so next week is obviously Thanksgiving, so you probably will start to see the volume thin out a little bit, but you can't really write next week off because we've also got December options expiration. And that's a key options expiration for December corn. So although it is a holiday week and the volume might thin out, it's a big day for options next Friday. So it's going to be interesting to see what the market does with that. And sometimes when you get thinner trade, it becomes a little bit easier to move the markets and you might get some irrational moves. So expect the unexpected, I guess, is the way to digest it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us with analysis. That is Oliver Silk, Blue Line Futures. More AgDay is coming up.
Now through November 22nd, Willowwood Glypho 6 starting at $33.49 per gallon when you pay with cash. Visit fbn.com/direct. Prices subject to change. Terms and conditions apply. Farmer to Farmer, the Conservation at Work video series features real stories, real successes, real quick. See what's possible at farmers.gov/conservation.
Meteorologist Matt Yurosavik joining us here, taking a look at our national forecast on Monday, and it looks like a pretty calm start to the week at least.
It will be. Things will ramp up as we kind of approach and then pass Thanksgiving and head into the weekend. We'll see more chances for rain and snow towards the end of the week. But you can see a very calm start to the week. We've got chillier conditions across the north with another cold front moving through and the northern Great Lakes there. Could bring a few snow showers into upstate New York. Other than that, things are quieting down after that big lake effect event over the weekend. High pressure in control for most of the country. Another cold front moving in the Pacific Northwest, bringing some rain and mountain snow. A few showers down across Texas and the Gulf Coast, and more in southern Florida as well. Now, as we head towards Wednesday, we start to get that system moving a little bit farther inland. We've got some rain and mountain snow back in parts of the Rockies there. It'll be nice and cold, fresh injection of that cold air, and then some showers starting to break out across the Mid-South and the Gulf Coast with another system that's going to be bringing in some cooler air off to the north as the next system starts to move its way on in. Now, as we head past Thanksgiving and into the second half of the week, things quiet down here out in the west with high pressure in control, but it's in the east where we've got to watch things. A lot of moving parts here, and as we head towards the end of the week, we could be looking at a system that brings some rain and or some snow all the way from the Great Lakes back through the Ohio Valley and towards the East Coast and the Mid-Atlantic states. So something we'll continue to keep an eye on there for the end of the week, but a very zonal pattern to start out. That changes though with some colder air starting to move in as we head towards Thanksgiving, and that right there could be the fuel for another storm system bringing rain to the south and snow to the north, and then really ramping up as it heads towards the east. All in all, below normal as we head through the middle of the country with precipitation this week, above normal across the East Coast and the Gulf Coast, as well as the Pacific Northwest. And then temperatures nice and cool in the east and in the center part of the country, but above normal back in the west, where we'll see mild temperatures return for the end of the week. And we'll continue to track that right here on Ag Day. That's a look around the country. Now let's take a look at the weather where you live. Dayton, Ohio, mostly sunny and chilly, a high near 47 degrees. Heading toward Nashville, Tennessee, 52, mostly sunny and mild out there. And then we head toward Bozeman, Montana, where we've got 34 degrees, mostly sunny and chilly.
Are equipment prices cooling off? Machinery Pete joins us next to answer that very question. And later, get lost in Georgia, how this popular corn maze continues to excite crowds year after year in the country.
AgDay is brought to you by NK Seeds, the fastest growing seed brand getting you top hybrids and varieties that perform on your acre. NK Seeds, bushels don't lie.
Are used equipment prices showing any signs of cooling off yet? Machinery Pete says no way.
I said it on November 1st, folks. Buckle your seatbelt. I wasn't saying it to be cute. I've just been compiling this data for 33 years now on auction pricing used farm equipment, and I've been watching this market go higher and higher by the month, past 18 plus month, higher by the week, even by the day, just unbelievable. And now we're coming into November, December, what I've always found to be the hottest time of year, year-end tax buyers piling in. And I tell you what, last week was unbelievable. So last Wednesday, BigIron.com, online auction out of Emerson, Nebraska, this 1993 Case H 7130 with 4,696 hours on it, sold for $75,750, all-time record high price on a 7130 Magnum, clipping a record from almost 10 years ago. Now that same day, last Wednesday, on a farm auction in Waverly, Iowa by our friends at the Steffes Group, this 2010 John Deere 7930 with 1,244 hours on it. It's over $170,000, same thing, record high auction price. The next day, last Thursday, online farm auction out in Emery, South Dakota by Weeman Land and Auction. This 2017 John Deere 9570 RX track tractor only had 540 hours on it. This thing sold for $531,000. That's the second highest auction price I've ever seen on a modern farm tractor. And folks, that thing was almost 6 years old and brought $531K. Wow. Same day, last Thursday, consignment auction, Strawberry Point, Iowa. This 1982 John Deere 4440 with 2,747 actual hours on it sold for $72,000. Again, all-time record high auction price.
All right, thanks, Pete. What does it take to create one of the most popular corn mazes in the country? It starts even before a seed is placed in the ground, as you'll see in the country.
Your next piece of equipment is on MachineryPete.com. Search equipment from dealerships across the country to find what you're looking for. Only on MachineryPete.com. Now through November 22nd, Ag Saver glyphosate 53.8% starting at $29.44 per gallon when you pay with cash. Visit fbn.com/direct. Prices subject to change. Terms and conditions apply.
While corn mazes in the Midwest are now covered with snow, others in the South are still pulling in tourists. Damon Jones of the Georgia Farm Monitor takes us to one maze that's consistently been voted one of the top in the country.
With those hot summer temperatures now a thing of the past, it's a perfect time for a little outdoor fun with the family. And one of the hot spots is sure to be the Buford Corn Maze, where visitors can enjoy a little bit of everything farm-related.
We sell an experience here, so we're giving people that fall farm experience, that they get to go through a corn maze, they get to ride a hayride, they get to see animals. You know, we have jumping pillows. This year, for the first time, they have this super high-tech planter. They actually planted the maze in. So the design is already there once they plant it. And then we've started using a different type of corn last year that Pioneer gave us, the one that's to try. It was a tropical corn, and it is just perfect for corn mazes. It grows to about 13 feet high. It's very bushy. It's got a really strong stalk. So it's everything you're looking for in a corn maze.
Since opening their gates nearly 15 years ago, this passion project has seen attendance grow exponentially as this mostly suburban community has really embraced it.
Obviously, you need people. It's not such a big deal to walk through a cornfield in Illinois. It's a much bigger deal in Gwinnett County. And we want the urban community, which here in Gwinnett County is very much urban. We want them to feel good about agriculture and the agricultural roots. And agriculture is so important to America. I mean, it's the #1 industry in Georgia and in most states. And I think it's been great for so many people to be able to do that. And we're excited. We really love it. We love making families happy and seeing the little kids being so happy. And so that's all part of it.
With its unique location just outside the bustling city of Atlanta, this attraction welcomes in people from all different backgrounds and allows them to enjoy a little taste of life on the farm. Reporting from Gwinnett County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Our thanks to the Georgia Farm Monitor for sharing that story. And that's all the time we have this morning. We're sure glad you tuned in. From all of us here at AgDay, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Have a great day.
Closed captioning on AgDay is brought to you by BASF. BASF, helping you do the biggest jobs on Earth.